Chosen Season 6 is over. At least they're done with filming, and it's been an amazing last week to look at what they've been doing and how they finished up this 86-day filming process. Yeah, let's jump into it and let's talk about this last week of filming and some of my thoughts about what's going on overall in the space over the last week. Here we go. First up, we've got Mark coming back, of course, Nick Alvarez, who plays Mark on the show, coming back for the last 3 days. It doesn't seem like he was in the show too much this season, maybe a little bit at the Garden of Gethsemane, and then a little bit here at the end, which is mostly focused on the Last Supper, the upper room area is what I mean there. And he says here, the final 3 days, here we play in his bungalow here as he gets ready to shoot. Yeah, most of this week is focused on that upper room area from what we've seen. And here he is in his Mark full costume here with his hair all right for the role. Everything else, he looks exactly like he did in season 5. And so, yeah. Here we get a little bit of the after party that they did after last week. Basically, a lot of the people left. So I think on the Friday or something of last week, they had this big party. And they always do a big wrap party. Obviously, it's a big deal when they finish a season, getting it all in the can, so to speak. And so now they're all together as they, party with Luke Dimian, who had to leave early because he was done with all his stuff. I think Jonathan Rumi got finished with most of his stuff, other than like marketing and things like that. So a lot of people were kind of done at this point, and so they did a big wrap party here. Of course, you see the Jenkins family, of course Sam with his future bride here as well. Then here we've got Dallas and Luke Dimian. Then Dallas and Amanda here with a huge Dallas head.
Do more.
There you go.
Take him down, Sam.
Come on.
Then here we've got Repping, who pays us. Of course, they had all these temporary tattoos at the party as well. So they got Dallas Jenkins and Adam Drake on their arms here. Very, very funny. Very, very funny stuff. We're going to see a lot more of those as well. And then here is Alan singing the national anthem for some reason.
The land of the free and the home of the brave.
And of course, they have the bull ride behind him. Welcome to Texas, But yeah, finishing out this national anthem to get ready for the after party, I guess. Very, very funny. Then here we've got a little collage here of what's going on. A bunch of different big heads all over the place, as well as just some different people riding the bull. Season 6 wrap party was a blast, and I'm very bruised from the bull. Very funny. Then here we get to day 84. Of course, there's only 86 days total. This is the last 3 days of filming, basically. So here's day 84. Looks like they're in the upper room, like we said before, and they're also kind of cleaning things up. We'll see more of a different angle of that in a second.
I want to make sure that we know where we're at.
We'll reset the table.
Unless like we just...
We're seeing most of the apostles, not all of them, but most of them here, and Mark.
And this will be a tighter version, same thing.
I want to make sure I'm in the right spot.
Now here are some more temporary tattoos from the after party, but of course they're on set as well. Got a bunch of Adam Drake, as well as an I Love Midlothian, where they shoot tattoo there, and then a season 6 with the nails, which is kind of interesting. I wonder if they'll use that for the branding for the season. Most likely, I would assume. Yeah, the 3 nails and like a VI for season 6. That makes a lot of sense. You can kind of see that right here. You see like the VI for season 6 right here. And then Adam Drake, I Love Midlow, The Chosen, little fish up here. Great stuff. And then here's the Mitch tattoo as well. I think this is Mark Sorian up here. And then Dallas Jenkins off to the side over here as well. All right, so we'll go back to that in a second. You see all of them rush into the room. Here we see Thaddeus, Nathaniel, and Mark as they run into the room and they begin to basically pack everything up. I think what is happening here is that they are worried that people are going to see that this is where Jesus came from and they're going to come here. And so they're trying to hide the tracks basically of the Last Supper and what happened here. That would be my guess, but not 100% sure. Obviously, this whole entire season happens within 24 hours. And I believe that this is at the end of the season as well, probably during the feature-length movie is where we will see this. But yeah, it seems like they're cleaning up for whatever reason, most likely to cover the tracks of where Jesus was before so that they don't get caught themselves. So we see that there. Now here we've got Matthew, of course, his last few days as well. Everybody's last few days. And then the moon outside, beautiful. Now here we've got another angle of what's going on here. You see all the food from the Last Supper still on the table as they're cleaning it up, getting ready to take it out. We see Nathaniel and Thaddeus again. And then looking out the window, we've got Matthew and Andrew. And that's day 85 there. Looks like they're shooting some more behind the scenes with Tamar here. This one's quite interesting because in particular, they are looking at whips on the table. So we see the whip that Jesus used for the cleansing of the temple. Then we have a lot of other whips here that they're going to be using for season 6, including the cat of nine tails and some different things over here as well. A bunch of different styles of whips that would have been used during that time. Of course, talking about how Jesus was whipped and all that kind of stuff. You saw that whole series that they did with Tamar, kind of explaining all the different things from season 5. What did you guys think about that series? I'd love to hear your thoughts on it. We didn't go over it on the channel very much because it's a lot of stuff we've talked about on the channel as well. But let me know what you thought about that series overall. But yeah, it looks like they're preparing to do more of those in the future. Now, I wanted to mention this really quickly. Here is the movie Daniel that is supposedly coming 2025. I don't know about that because I don't think they've shot it yet. I actually just had lunch with a few people that are involved with this, and it seems like it's going to be really, really interesting. So we're keeping an eye on this movie that's going to be coming up in the future. It's a movie about Daniel, and so we'll see how that progresses in the future. One of the interesting things, though, is that it's not just a movie about Daniel. I think I might have this later in the video here, but there is one of the chosen cast who is part of this movie, at least one of the chosen cast. There might be a few of the chosen cast who are part of this movie, which could be really interesting here. Second to last day for Matthew here as he's closing out the season. Then here we got a little bit of Brosen promotion. So let's look at this here.
All right, we're doing great. Off to a great start. Let's do that one more time.
I got you.
Just have it here just in case, you know.
Wait, where are you?
Are we really doing this? Is this happening?
We don't know either.
Okay, what am I doing?
What am I saying?
That was pretty good. Back up.
Hi, my name's Abe Buenogelad. I am Joey Vahidi.
My name is Vanessa Benavente.
Hey, we're the Kendrick brothers.
Hi, I'm Amy Bailey.
Demetrius Troy.
Brandon, also known as the Chosen Sleuth.
And this is Wasim Namani.
This is Brad Goldberg.
I play Big James, and I have chosen the Brosen.
I play Thomas on The Chosen, and I have chosen the Brosen.
I play Joanna on The Chosen, and I've chosen the Brosen.
This is Lazarus from The Chosen. Thanks to you, I have finally chosen the Brosen.
I play Mary Mother. I have chosen the Brosen.
And I have chosen the Brosens.
And we have chosen the Brosen.
Thanks.
And we have chosen
the Brosen.
The Brosen.
Yes.
Pretty good.
What did you choose?
Brosen. Brosen. It was forced. It was a forced situation.
Love those guys. The Brosen, of course, starting season 3. I'll be in that as well, so go check it out for sure. Love those guys. They're awesome.
Good to see you. Nice to see you.
Here's Dallas saying hi to some extras on set. I think this is a while ago, but playing it here.
Nice to see you. Thanks for coming out.
Hi, Gracie. Everyone?
Yeah, good to see you guys. Thanks for coming out into the heat. Thanks for coming out in the heat. Good to see you. Way to come out in the heat. Good to see you. Good to see you.
it is very difficult to say hi to this many people and to have interactions with this many people. Dallas does way more than he needs to in terms of saying hi to everybody and making sure that he gives everybody a little tiny fist bump, everything like that. But I'm really impressed by Dallas every time he interacts with huge crowds of people because he gives everything that he can.
See you guys.
Only time I'll come out.
Yes. Yes, I know. Me too.
Yeah.
Day 86, the last day here as they're on set. And again, they're back in the upper room here as they finish out the day. This scene is actually quite interesting. We're going to talk about this in a second as we get a better angle of it. Now here we get a pretty big clue. This is day 86, the last day. And also we have the day of what episode this is. This is episode 7, day 35 of 35. So today they're focused on episode 7, which means that whatever we're seeing during this time is at the end of the season. It is during the feature-length movie. Remember, episode 7 is in that movie. Episode 7 and 8, how that works, is in the movie. And so that is what we're seeing here. This is also Wednesday when obviously the assassination of Charlie Kirk happened. And so I'm sure that the set was, there's a lot of energy, I'm sure, on set as well. But we'll talk about that at the very end of this video, just a little bit. But yeah, this is obviously at the end of the season, episode 7, day 86 of 86, the longest season they've ever shot for The Chosen. Very impressive stuff, for sure. Now here you can see that they are in the middle of an earthquake in the upper room. There's Mark that's here. A bunch of the apostles are here. Of course, we're not going to see John here because if there's an earthquake that's happening, this means that this is right at the time that Jesus dies. When he dies, there's an earthquake that happens. There's rocks that split. All these different things happen. And so this is them in the upper room hiding during the time that Jesus dies. Remember, none of them are there at the cross except for John and the women. And so the rest of them are in hiding. The rest of them are trying to figure out what to do, right? And so here they are in the upper room as they're hiding and cleaning up and doing whatever they're doing. Then the earthquake hits, and we see that they are experiencing that here with all the dust flying around and the plates rattling. And I wonder how they did all this, if they built the room on like a giant shaker or something, because it does look like everything is shaking. Maybe just the table has a shaker on it. I'm not 100% sure. Yeah, it does kind of look like the table might be the only thing with a shaker on it. And then they have people on the top kind of throwing dust in order to make it look like there's stuff happening there. Now, one interesting thing about this shot right here is that we get another character that we wouldn't expect to see in the upper room, and that is Mr. Lazarus right there. So we have Demetrius Troy playing Lazarus, who is now in the upper room in Jerusalem during the time that Jesus dies. Now, we don't know in history or in reality where Lazarus was during all of this time. We know that he was alive, right? Or at least we hope that he's alive. We don't actually have full confirmation of that either. We know that he came back to life, but we don't know how long he stayed alive after that, right? But we do see here that he is in the upper room with the followers of Jesus, kind of waiting or hiding or doing something. Earlier in the BTS, of course, we've seen a lot of scenes with them in Lazarus's house. So if they're in Lazarus's house, then eventually they leave Lazarus's house and maybe he just comes with them and goes back to Jerusalem and goes to the upper room. We're not sure how he would get here, but he is part of this, which means that he's part of the movie as well, which is a pretty cool thing. I think it's great to have as many people as possible as part of that movie, because I think that is going to be obviously the magnum opus of this season. And so we see Lazarus there. They're laughing at Paris because he just got covered in dust.
No. We're good? Yeah.
In Dallas asking, did anything fall? Okay, we're good.
So today is the
and they're finishing up that. Here's Adam talking about the last day as well.
last day of filming. 86 days on The Chosen. But it's the first day of season 3 of The Brosen.
Season 3 of The Brosen with first guest, the Kendrick brothers.
Comes out in 1 hour.
Literally.
Yeah, it came out last week. If you guys haven't seen the Kendrick brothers episode, you can go check that out over on The Brosen. Very good episode. I mean, not the best episode of the season, for sure. but it's a good episode.
An hour from right now, so you guys should get on YouTube and watch at that time.
All right, here is Giovanni Cairo, who is giving the final call for first team's wrap here.
Right now.
So the food truck came on, and in the chat, poor Danny.
Can I stop talking 1 second? Okay, you're good.
Go. And what we started doing is,
and that's a good night, first team.
So basically just closing down first team, who are the main actors for, you know, their season. Essentially, they're done here. You can see some of the actors behind him as well. We got Shahar as well as Joey behind him there. Then here is part of the crew here, of course, who've been following through. And we'll make this a little bit bigger so you guys can see. Here we go. We've got Base Camp AD, Danny in the middle. We've got right here, first team PA, which is what Danny used to do, I believe. And then we have Rebecca, who's additional AD first team. So very, very cool. And then they said, halfway through the season, the three of us unexpectedly shifted up in our positions. I could not be more proud of how each stepped up. Couldn't have done it without my first team ladies. That's a season wrap, and we crushed it. Special shout out to the OG Base Camp AD I Train Fool for preparing us well and always having our backs. So yeah, very cool. Obviously, things happen. People move in different positions, or they move up to different places, or someone gets fired, or whatever else. Right? It's a job like anything else. But they have done a really great job as far as we've seen from the outside. Yeah, great job, ladies. Here we've got Daniel, who of course we've been following all throughout the BTS, and he styled Dallas for the last day of filming, possibly because he had some marketing stuff or some different things to do that day on camera. So it makes sense that he would want him to look his best there. Dallas, I'm sure, does not like being styled. It's not something that he probably thinks is very fun, but yeah. Moving on, we got a shot of Adam Drake and Sam Jenkins as they're finishing out the season here in their shirts. And then here we've got everybody as they're closing out the season in their sleeveless shirts and doing the final shot of the season with some of the apostles here.
This is a line.
Katrina. We got Dallas without his sleeves on as well. Very, very funny. Very funny.
Katrina. Dude, this is awesome.
Even the ladies over here.
I got my toothpaste.
Got the sleeveless shirts on the ladies as well. And they've all got different shirts on for the grip crew here.
Demetrius on a little biblical vignette. He actually played the part of John the Apostle. And it's been wonderful.
Real quick. Who is this? Is this a stand-in or is this a new character we haven't met yet? Right here. You see that? This guy right here. Does anybody recognize this guy? I don't recognize him. He could be a stand-in. Doesn't really look like it though. I mean, he looks like he's in costume, like an actual costume. So could this be a new character here that we're meeting? Maybe this is... No, this couldn't be Luke, right? That wouldn't really make sense to be there at the crucifixion. I don't know. I don't know who that is. Who could that be? That's not Mark's dad. Definitely not. Who else would be in the upper room during this time? I mean, potentially Jesus's brothers could be around. But I don't think they would do that in this show. I just don't. I think they like being vague about that kind of stuff. So that's interesting. I don't know who that character is. Because he definitely looks like he's in costume, not just like normal clothing, right? Who else would be in the upper room? Okay, let me back up. Anyway, he's giving the rap announcement here for Demetrius Troy, who of course plays Lazarus. and he's worked with Demetrius for a long time.
Part of John the Apostle. And it's been wonderful for us, Lazarus, for the last few seasons with the picture wrap on our Demetrius.
So there's the picture wrap for Demetrius, and then here we've got a message from one of the producers. Says it's been 149 days since production started, 86 shooting days in total, filmed in Texas, Utah, and Italy. Thank you to these amazing cast and crew for a great season 6 of The Chosen. And of course, we'll see all that come out next year, pretty much, as we work on the post processing and the all the stuff to lead up to the release of the season later on. Remember, season 5 isn't even out to the public yet for another week and a half. So yeah, it's we've got a little while till season 6 for sure. Here's a wrap on season 6 as they all kind of talk, and Dallas does his wrap announcements for all these different actors, gives them some love at the end of the season. Of course, it's very warranted here. Here is Thaddeus saying, "Until next time, my friend," and of course, one more season to go. And then Thaddeus will be done until the Axe series. Same thing for Philip here, Reza. Then here they had some donuts as a season 6 wrap kind of treat. Donut truck there, and then here is a wrap on season 6 altogether. They always do these rainbow lights, party lights here. Let me go back and see if we can see that guy anymore. So there's Lazarus back there, Thaddeus there. Trying to see if there's anything. Yeah, this guy is recording. It's this guy right here. He is recording. So he recorded something. I wonder if he posted anything. We've got Chris right next to him. Mark is over here. I wish I got a better angle of him here. Mysterious guy. I don't know who it is, to be honest. Yeah. If you have any ideas, let me know. Interesting stuff. Here we get a little bit of a montage for Judas as he's first introduced all the way to the end here. And of course, Luke is kind of looking back on his time on The Chosen because he's now done with The Chosen. I don't believe we're going to get any more scenes with Judas in the future. And so he's looking forward to the next job that he's going to get. He's an actor after all. Like, he's going to move on to something else. He's going to work on something else. And so we'll see how that goes for him. Obviously, The Chosen was a massive debut for him as an actor. So many, many people know who he is now. And here's kind of behind the scenes of all the seasons that he's worked on, going back all the way to season 5 here, into season 6. And then at the end, he leaves an open door. So open door onto what's new here. Now, the song that's playing here, I didn't play it because obviously it's copyright, all that kind of stuff. The song that is playing here talks about forgiveness. So I wonder if there's going to be an element of Judas asking for forgiveness in season 6. This would be a little bit weird for me, I think, for sure, for Judas to be asking for forgiveness. Especially the way that things end up with him. So it'd be very strange. But we'll see how it works. If that is a storyline element, then we'll talk about it when that happens. All right, here we got Reza sitting in front of the window in the upper room here. And then here, I just wanted to point out, this last week, I got to spend some time with my friend Ruslan. We've met several times through different Chosen events and things. He came here locally to me in the Nashville area and had an event here for his new book, which is called Godly Ambition. And really, really interesting subject to talk about in terms of ambition and how ambitious you should be as a Christian and what that looks like from a godly point of view, from a scriptural point of view. Really, really interesting stuff. So he signed that for us. And then he did an event here at a local church that I've never been to. So that was fun, a lot of fun there. We had a great time with, of course, my wife, Vanessa, but also some friends of ours who went to the event as well. Yeah, it was a good time for sure. Here we've got Mitch talking about the Promised Land series coming up. He said he was live on a show earlier last week. If you're not looking for the Promised Land, make sure you're looking for it because it's going to be coming up very soon, October 1st. We're going to be talking about it here on the channel, and we're definitely going to dive into all of it. So then here, some big news for SAG-AFTRA. Sean Astin, who plays Samwise Gamgee and a bunch of other people, right? I think he played Rudy. He was in the Goonies, right? The main character of the Goonies. So he got voted as the president of SAG. And so, yeah, very cool stuff there. Of course, very important for the actors there. He can't carry it for you, but he can carry you. Of course, that's a line from Lord of the Rings at the very end of The Return of the King there. And then here is day 89 of 86. This is from Sam Jenkins, I think. They did 3 extra days out of the 86 days. So 87, 88, 89 were all marketing days. So some of the actors stayed back and did a bunch of marketing for 3 days in order to make sure they had a material to put out on YouTube and on Instagram and on, all the platforms in order to market the show for the next year. And so they did a bunch of content there. Here you can see some of that as well as they're kind of behind the scenes. That's day 3 of 3 of marketing there. And then here we've got a shot of the rest of the crew who stayed back, including Jonathan, and of course the large crew behind them doing some different content as well. And here I wanted to point this out. This is just some of the crew from the Joseph series that of course is filming currently. We don't know how many days they're filming. We don't have a lot of BTS of their stuff. I wish we had more. I wish we could look at more. It would be great to look at what they're shooting and what's going on over there. But we've got the man who plays Joseph, of course. And this is a bunch of his brothers here as well, who are hanging out after shooting. And then here we've got Luke Demian saying freedom. I'm assuming he means freedom from not having to work right now. He's done working from the season because this was a hard season for him, I'm sure. And then here we've got Danny taking all the snacks from Crafty, which Crafty is craft services, which they bring all the food and snacks and hydration, all that kind of stuff to the set. And so she's rating all of her favorite snacks before they all leave for the season. Now, this is, I did cut off the name on this. This is from Jaleh, and this is the last thing I'm going to talk about in this video. So let me close off season 6 and then we'll go here. So season 6 looks great. They finished filming, looks amazing. Super, super excited for it. Of course, we'll cover anything else that comes up on the YouTube channel. They should be doing BTS videos on the YouTube channel like they normally do. So we'll see when that starts taking place. If that's going to be later on in the year or into next year, who knows? There's a lot of stuff to come with that for sure. But of course, we'll get to it when we get to it after all. But when it comes to this whole thing, so let's talk about Wednesday, the assassination of Charlie Kirk. Obviously a horrible, horrible thing. I made a community post about it when it was happening live. We were asking for prayer and everything happening there. I'm not going to get into the whole thing here. I'm sad about it. I mean, it's a very intense thing. I know that some of you probably disliked Charlie or some of the things that he stood for. If there are any negative comments on my videos, I'm just going to ban those people permanently. If you're celebrating his death or if there's anything that's like, you're excited that this happened, you absolutely 100% will never have a comment on my channel ever again, because it's disgusting. And I've seen way too much of people, I've seen way too much of the evil of humanity this week in order to have any tolerance for it. So this is from Jaleh, who plays Veronica. And I was actually very pleasantly surprised because I saw a lot of the actors of The Chosen or different people that are kind of around in that area sharing things that are just disgusting. Not that I ever saw any of the actors immediately celebrating the death of Charlie or anything like that. But this is the proper response, right? She says, as a student of American law, attorney, and someone who doesn't identify with any of the political parties, I'm heartbroken to see so many stories and comments actually applauding the death for anyone for exercising their freedom of speech, regardless of their political affiliation. This is the proper response. It's disgusting to see what the world has been doing. And so I gained a lot of respect for Jaleh. Obviously I don't know where anybody stands when it comes to the cast and crew for the most part of The Chosen or any other show for that matter. I know that most of them are going to disagree with me because they're in Hollywood, they're actors in LA. Of course they're going to disagree with me. I get that. But some of the disgusting behavior that I've seen, it definitely mars, the optics of who these people are. Not that I ever held them in high esteem anyways. You guys know me. I don't do actor interviews for this very reason, because they are flawed people, and I don't watch the shows to watch, Jonathan Rumi or any of the other actors, right? I don't do that because I love them as actors. I watch the show and I deep dive it because I love God and the Bible, and that is my main purpose, right? So it doesn't change anything that I think about the show. Doesn't change anything that I think about, deep diving into biblical media. But it's just a reminder that, like, this is why we don't idolize actors. This is why we don't idolize, people in the space like this, because, man, they are broken just like everybody else, and sometimes have absolutely horrible takes on things. So, as always, we'll continue to walk in caution and in godly fear. But I do want to point out Jalé's response here, because I think it's beautiful in the world that she lives in. I mean, she lives like in the Hollywood Hills, like she is right there. And I'm sure that most of her friends were not having very good responses to this, which is why she felt the need to speak out here. And so did want to point that out. Anyway, let me know your thoughts about season 6 and all that stuff in the comments down below. Of course, we've got a lot more to look at. We are just closing up the filming of season 6, but of course, there's a lot more to come when it comes to the future of not only the season 5 release, but also House of David, Promised Land series, the Daniel movie. There's so much to come this year, and I know it feels like we're so close to the end of the year, but man, there's a ton yet to come and a ton of deep diving to do. So anyway, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, and of course, we'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.